everyone, welcome to Delphi Days of Summer, and in this session we will see GenAI Apps in Delphi. So a little bit about myself. I am Dion Mai, Microsoft Director of Technology. I am also an Embarcadero MVP and a control and automation engineer. And in this session we'll see what are GenAI Apps, options to use them, practical sample of how to apply GenAI apps, and the downsides of GenAI, and from now what. So, what are GenAI apps? Uh, GenAI apps are the use of LLMs integrating our application, focusing on generation, right? So LLMs is a very recent concept. I mean, 2 or 3 years is the time that we more talk about it. And the idea here is use a LLM integrating in our application, focusing on generating new things. And this will give to our applications new powers, new abilities that before the LLMs we simply does not have, right? Like this image here that I generate in ChatGPT, but for this kind of new features, give us a whole new world of things that we can do inside our applications. And why it is important? We have new possibilities because without the LLMs, we probably only by code, will be never able to do such as things. We can improve productivity even for ourselves, even for our user, and we can simplify software users' daily life. So the available options, we have many LLMs that we can use today. I will not do a benchmark here or compare one another. I will just show you these four that are the LLMs that I use the most. ChatGPT, Gemini from Google, ChatGPT from OpenAI, Cloud from Anthropic, and Llama from Meta. These are the four LLMs that I have most contact. Each one has its own advantages and downsides, right? And they work very differently. So you'll be more accurate thinking about projects, right? No, for this project, maybe Gemini will be better because of its large context window. For this project, maybe ChatGPT will be better because of its great ability to write good and comprehensive email, or uh, you know, you must choose according to your project needs. uh, None of these LLMs, at least for me, for the project that I work with, none of them work perfectly and complete all the sites, complete all the needed tasks, right? In many cases, we have to use even more than one LLM. So these are the options. For this sample, I will focusing on ChatGPT, right? But be sure you can apply at least with these other LLMs. We will be able to construct the same sample without problem. And of course, all these new features, all these new LLMs give us a lot of new possibilities, like embeddings. So, what are embeddings? And using your application in our applications, uh, we can use in our applications the concepts visualization of the LLM. So, what are embeddings? When we train the LLM, it's like here we have a visual representation. is like that every concept that we put inside our LLMs, like Gemini or ChatGPT or Cloud, every concept is like a vector inside of a 3D space. Of course, this is a simple representation. Usually, the LLM providers say that are many spaces that are not only three-dimensional. And but the idea is that every concept that the LLM understands is a vector. It's a point inside of this space, right? And embeddings is the process to generate these vectors. Okay, so every LLM understand embeddings and work with embeddings because all the concepts that the LLM has inside it are vectors that are teaching to that LLM. And what we can do, we can use that concept in our applications. We can um, generate embeddings and teach or tell the LLM to use that embedding that we are generating by ourselves. And what it's give us the ability for search, for meaning, concepts, it not only words. Uh, Let me explain. If I want to search in my product list for, let's say, a camping tool, a camping uh, feature, right? And if I use it, if I use the today search, I only be able to match that search with the exactly words that describe the tool that I'm looking for. But if I don't know the exactly words that describe that tool, I will be maybe never able to search it to find it. And in search for meaning, it's different. I will search for one word and the embeddings will show all the regions near to that meaning that I want to search about it and give all that possible results to us. So it's a whole new possibility because I don't have more the necessity to specify the exactly words. And another amazing points for this is that I can search using images, right? So thinking yourself when your customer, your client, your user are trying to search for something in your system, and maybe uh, they will not need any more words. They can send you a picture of what they want to search, or they even can search by themselves, putting an image of the things that they wanted, and by concept search, the LLM can provide us the very near image or very near responses to that concept that we are searching for. And how the embeddings look like? Well, for us, for developers, they are simply a very large array of float points. So this is a embedding generated by OpenAI, and I put a phrase and give this response. The array will be always the same size, but of course the numbers will change a lot according to the amount of information or the information that I put. It's like I generate a hash, you know? The hash will be always same size, but they change a lot inside it because of uh, little changes in the information that I put as the inputs. And of course, to store these embeddings, we will need a vector database. And here are some options. I already used these two options and worked for me very well. We have MongoDB. MongoDB has a very good support to embeddings. And also we have Postgre with pgvector extension. So these two options work very well for me. Maybe other databases has also support for embeddings, but I only has contact to these two, and these two work very well. And for this sample, we will use MongoDB because MongoDB has a great sample already being created by Mongo, and we will use that part as a sample for us. Uh, let's look at it. Let's look at a database with embeddings. So here we have our MongoDB cluster, and inside the collections we have this sample mflix, a sample catalog with many movies that Mongo generate for us for test collection. And inside of this sample mflix, we have these embedded movies. There is a simple object of a movie, maybe a old, maybe a new one. And inside of each item of these collections, we have here the plot embedding. So all the plot from the movie here, the plot, generate an embedding and what's put here inside of each movie. So this is a, let me collapse this to be more easy to, just a sample database, and every plot for each movie has been embedded in this array here. Like I told you before, every array will be the same size that the one before because of the the rules of generating of embeddings. And this embedding here was generated by OpenAI, by the API of OpenAI. Be more pay a lot of attention at this information, because you will be not able to search one embedding with another. Uh, One guy explained it like is like that was different languages. Uh, if we use the embedding from Hugging Face, from Gemini, the embedding style will be very different than the embedding from OpenAI, and the database will not be able to search for one embedding inside of other. Okay, so if you want to use this database, you will be obliged to use OpenAI embeddings to do this search, to do the communication with this Mongo sample here. Okay, if you want to use other embedding style from Hugging Face or Gemini, you must regenerate all this embedding information from that API that you want to use. And after that, yes, you will be able to search inside of the embedding with the information that you want. Okay? And to do the search is very simple. We just have to create an index here. It's a very simple step-by-step process to generate an index. And after that, we can access that index from our DB call and give access to all the embedded information. And okay, I got it. But why we need embeddings? Let's apply it. First of all, let me show you a simple method that only generate embeddings. So I have this API call here. Don't be afraid, this the back end of my application are writing in Node, because it is the sample that I already had built in the past. So all the back end will be in Node, but the front end will be in Delphi, like you use every day. Very easy to use as well. Okay, and of course all these API calls can be done in Delphi. There nothing will stop you to do that, because for me I just use this one because of the time. Okay, so this simple sample here generating embedding, and it's just a API call to OpenAI. Before, in my source code I put my token key to have access to the API. After that, I just had to put here the information that want to be the generate of embedding, and after that I send the response to the client, the embedding that was received. And in this simple postman here, I will do a simple call, and here we have the embedding information of this phrase that I wrote here. If I change the phrase to another information, of course the embedding will change, but that is the process, okay? Every time that I want search for something, search for a meaning, I will have to generate the embedding. And this generation of the embedding must follow that rules that I told you. Be always from the same uh, LLM provider, and be always called via an API call. And for the application, we have here so API application from our Node backend. And let me run the application to you see. So we have here a very large list of movies that we receive from the MongoDB database. And like always, we already know it. We can search inside of this movie list, like informing something that has here in the plot, like a trader. Here we have trader word. So if I type here trader and search for it, I will have only a movie about a trader, but I will not have a movie about trade something. I will not have movie about other things related to trader world, or even other things related to the trade concept. And once I mark here search by meaning and do the same search, I will have a lot of different answers, because now we are searching by the meaning of the trade, not only the word. So maybe the movie plot here does not has the trade word, but offer the same meaning that I was searching before. And a sample that even ChatGPT generate for me is this phrase here. Let's see, a story about a robot learning to understand human emotions. And it's a very complex topic, okay? And when we search here and see the movies that this phrase provide, it's a very different list in kind of words that we use to describe the phrase that we are searching for, okay? Of course, this is a movie list, but, but think about it. What are the possibilities? You can search now for, like I told you before, a list of tools that I need to camping, uh, a list of parts of a building ship that I need to build, and many other options we can reach by searching now by meaning, not only by word. Of course, this will not eliminate the search of word. Many of our customers already know how to use it and can use it every day. But we have now a large new option searching by meaning of the things, not only the words that we want to search. And let me just scroll you here over the source code in Delphi. Like I told you, a very simple source code. It's nothing to take a lot of time. If I search by if the search checkbox search by meaning was checked, I only change the request object. And of course, this is just a proof of concept application. In day to day, you will rename all the components and separate the business logic from the interface. But you get the idea. It's just a simple case to show you how to implement this functionality. And inside of the node execution part, where we search for the meaning, we just generate the embeddings, go to the MongoDB and ask for that embedding that OpenAI provides us. Very simple way of request. It's only 20 line of code and we have the embedded search done. Um, so back in our application, we can apply it by concept. And what the application does is that the user interface do a search in our backend server. Our backend server contact OpenAI API and generate embeddings. After that, we go through MongoDB and do the search with the embeddings that the OpenAI provides to us. And then we send the response back to our application interface to show all the answers that Mongo was able to find with that embedding that we provide. Okay? So from now on, uh, as I was talking to Gemma from Gemini, right, the model, and I asked about this sample and if this sample classify as a GenAI application, and Gemma pointed out that like for books, is like this application is more like a bibliotecary, and GenAI app is more like an author. Okay, give the rule GenAI in our applications, we must do a little bit more. That is not only using embeddings to search, but help it to write to generate things. And notice that this sample that I show you until here is only a search with meaning. Is we no does not generate anything new from that. But we can change how? Well, we can simply let me stop my sample here and run it again. We can simply search by meaning again and obtain all the movies that we are able to search before. But now we can, like this, write a custom email to our customers selling these movies that we receive from that API call. It will take a little bit more of time because now we have another call to an LLM. But let me show you here that we have dive into intriguing world of robots, and all the movies that we receive from this list are now listed in this email information to trying to sell these pieces of movie. So thinking about your customer again, your user, and when he find the information that you want to send to a customer, to a client, they does not need to write an email based on that information. They can just click a button and the LLM will do the work for them, right? And for that, what we did, we just put a new layer here. After we receive the response from Mongo, we again send to OpenAI, but now not to generate embeddings, but to generate a response, a new generated response that we will send to the application interface. And of course, in this case, we generate text, but can be an image, can be an audio file, can be any other kind of media that maybe you needed. Uh, the LLM will be able to generate to you as well. Right. And has any downsides to use GenAI? One of the greatest downsides to use AI is hallucinations. And what are hallucinations? Hallucinations is when the LLM does not know the answer to the questions that we are giving them, right? So let's think about it. When you have, like, in this case, uh, uh, a lot of uh, a lot of tools that were needed to build this boat, and your company, your software, maybe know how to build this boat, but the LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, maybe does not know how to build the ship that you wanted to talk about. And the LLM also doesn't know that they don't know. it's it's strange to talk that way, but it is okay. So the LLM does not know that that information that you are asking for was not contained inside its knowledge base. And so when the LLM try to answer your question, instead of giving you the right answer based on the correct information, the LLM will simply hallucinate, will took any information that was better ranked for the words that we use and put to you that information as a correct information. But again, it's just a ranked information. It's not the information that you want to search about, right? So this is a very tricky thing when we use LLMs, and by now we don't have any great solution for hallucinations. We have many uh, uh, step sides that we can do to reduce or even avoid, but we will not able to always eliminate, okay? Because we will never know when the user can input in information that was not in the LLM training base. But what we can do to avoid and reduce a lot of hallucinations is to provide context to the LLMs. Okay, so providing the right context to the LLM, we can, with the correct context providing, we can strongly reduce the possibility of the hallucinations. And how we can do that? We can simply generate embeddings of the the documentation of our system, the documentation of the product that we want to LLM to talk about, and send that embeddings to the LLM as a parameter for the prompt that we are using. So with that embeddings of the documentation, the possibility of the LLM hallucinate is very low, because now the LLM will look at the information that we are providing to them to answer the question that we are doing, we are asking, not only to the all knowledge base of the LLM. So the possibility of the hallucination go very down, and is a very tricky solution. Before to go on, just a simple data disclaimer. You can provide LLM public and accessible information. Does not need to be the industrial secret of your company, right? So we know that many companies has this concern about what data we are giving to the LLMs, but consider again, for many of the daily life applications, we just not need to give the LLM all the trade secrets that we have inside our company. We can provide them very accessible information, like the products that our company sell, the specifications to the products that our company sells. Of course, it will vary a lot according to your business case, but I think that you got the idea, right? In many cases, the documents are from public domain. We just have to generate embeddings to help the LLM to provide the right answer, right? So even if we are talking about a commercial secret, we will not even do not like that LLM write that information to our customer or a client or any people outside of our company that we are talking. So for all that cases is not the matter. Uh, the most important thing here is for us to classify the information with the right classification. This is public access information. This is private uh, access information, and only provide to the LLMs the public and the simple access information that anyone can has access. And over that, we can generate embeddeds and send that to LLMs to do the the job for us. And this process that I talking now about to you is the process to generate a RAG, okay, a retrieval augmented generation. The process to give more context to an LLM, and almost the same that we did for meaning search, right? So because of that, I put this in this session because it's a very complex concept, but it's almost the same thing that we did before. But instead of only sending the embeddings to the database from the user question, okay, we will search maybe over our database for documents that contain the meaning that the user searched, and after that took that concepts and send that concepts to the LLM, do the search in write the response to our user. Okay, so the user question plus the generated embeddings from the documents, from the information that we have, send that to LLM, and after that show the response to in the user interface. So in conclusion, GenAI brings us a whole new set of possibilities. We can have meaning search, as I show you here, with the simple sample, and it's not a very difficult thing to implement. It's very simple to implement. It took me a few hours of work to do everything set, but uh, I think you get the idea. We can have the search from the text, from the image, and even have image and text generation. And also, we can access to reasoning. And reasoning is another aspect that I didn't put many samples in this application, but also go inside of GenAI idea from an application. Well, is that is where when we put some information that LLM was reasoning about, and it's like do an if inside of a text or a bunch of information. Is something that today we don't have any other possibility to do. Let me explain you one business case. My company receive a lot of candidates, a lot of job applications, and we have an LLM to classify all that job applications. And in many cases, with spam filter of filter rules, we will not able to do that classification because with reserved words, sometimes email from a customer was classified as a job application, right? But with reasoning, that's very simple because we just ask the LLM, this email is a person applying for a job, a development or technology job, and the LLM classify that email accordingly with the information provided contained in that email. Of course, sometimes we have some strange behaviors like uh, two or three emails that we receive was not classified as job application, and they were job application. And when we ask again to LLM why that those emails were not classified as job applications, the answer of the LLM was that those emails were very badly written. So maybe they are phishing or not not persons to apply to job. So reasoning is another great possibility. Okay, and we work the same way that we do our work here. Just send the information to the OpenAI API, receive the response, and uh, working around that. So really thank you for your time. And here we have my contacts if you need any information. This sample will be at my GitHub. After that, you can go there. Even the node and the Delphi source code will be there. You can download it. And anything that you need about it is you can just ask by my email. Okay? So thank you and have a nice day.
And Dion is with us live in the studio. What? There you go. That's how we want it to go. The reason I want it like that is so I can do things like this. I can go up and I can say, "Doof up there." Yeah, there you go. Dion's website. Hi, Dion. How are you?
I am very well, and you?
See, your volume on your microphone is perfect.
No, yeah. For that session, I was last week. I was very sick. I got a very strong flu. That's the reason that I
Oh.
wasn't able to use my nose, so my voice was very loud. That was the reason that I speak so loud. So
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. You should have got AI to do the voice for you. There you go. You see? I see some Delphi people, and there's one guy, and I forget, I saw him on YouTube. I don't know who he is, but I don't think English is his first language. But he does some really good videos. But the voice that does the voiceover is all AI. It's really weird. It's good, his code is good, but the AI voice is really kind of creepy, actually.
I use the 11 Labs. I don't know if you heard about it. It's very good, but the problem for me is that is too much flat. When you are watching something from I think I get sleepy because it's always the same volume.
Yes,
You
it
don't have
talks like this
ventilation.
and a monotone like that all the time. Yeah, exactly. I totally get. I mean, someone said to me, I used to do voiceovers. I used to record audiobooks for Amazon, and I've got a British accent, and actually it can be quite useful and get a lot of demand for it. And when AI started becoming popular, one of the things they said was, "Oh, that's the end of audiobook narration because people will just get the AI to do it." And then they started hearing the AI do it, and it doesn't have the same mistakes or inflection. It's like human beings when they talk. Even a narrator who is trained to speak, at a certain volume and continuously pronouncing things correctly, they make mistakes that actually our human ear doesn't actually hear, but subconsciously you feel it in your heart. There's something right about that voice. Some of the AI voices are getting very good, and they are credible, but you can still, something in your brain says, that sounds like not real. It's probably a good thing, I think, overall. So there you go. Compliments for you. Patrick Prematin saying that Dion is a great speaker at technical conferences. There you go. And I know that to be true. And we're going to see each other soon as well. So that's excellent. And a little kind of talking point, really, which was Nigel said it will be interesting if AI gets an attitude added to it. I don't know whether that translates very well, but what he means is if it starts getting a bit angry, like, oh, you want to know what my image is, or something like that. I'm just going to let my dog in because he's scratching on the door. Come on, in you come. You are annoying. There you go. The joys of being alive. He's only a little terrier, but he's irritating. Yes, I mean, I think that your video is very good. I mean, you did. Let me just reply to producer Martha, which is she's asking questions. You used Postman in your video, didn't you? That was right, wasn't it?
Excuse me.
Did you use Postman in your video? Was that what I saw you using?
Yes. I use Postman because I build a backend server to do the request to the OpenAI API. But all the requests can be done by Delphi itself. We don't need the node part.
Yeah. I mean, I've used Postman as well to debug REST interfaces, but it's an interesting tool. But you have to go for the free option because their pricing options start to go like that, in cost. Wow, it's steep.
Yes.
I mean, what's your general feeling on AI in things like the IDE? Do you think that's a good idea? And if so, what would you like AI to be doing in RAD Studio if you had a choice?
If I have a choice, I think the most interesting thing that I see until now is from the new Xcode, the Xcode from this year, where Apple announces and he has its own build LLM inside the
Ah,
IDE. And when let me show, when I start a method like convert this table to JSON, he understands what I typing and suggests I code behind completing the method that was the best case, because all the other applications we must go to Copilot, we must go until ChatGPT, and go out to the ideas is not ideal. Not seems fluent when we using it. So if
right.
we was able to build inside the IDE something to suggest us like hints, and we click, oh, that hint is good, let me use this option. I think that will be a very good case of increase the productivity.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we've had a lot of discussions at Embarcadero, and I think we must be the same as every other company, which is AI seems very interesting. And I think that OpenAI, the purchase of OpenAI, or at least the investment by Microsoft into OpenAI, really made people think, well, actually, this is a real thing. It's not a gimmick. It's not, going to go away in a few years or something like that. But the thing that concerns us is, will you be quiet, dog? The thing that concerns us is that, um, you know, if you are a software developer, what you don't want is to have your your code going up to someone like Microsoft, training their AI, and then your code being reproduced somewhere else. And that was one thing internally at Embarcadero that we think is a big concern for our customers, because the amount of times that people have come along and said, I'm going to pick my dog up and then he'll be quiet. There he is, everybody. Okay. See how unprofessional you are. You're live on TV now.
Talking about AI.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? There have been a number of people complain about, having their code appear when they use Copilot, which is the Microsoft solution. And, they'll type in something and out will come a copyright notice, as part of the comments. And of course, the AI is just, retyping what it learned. But if it includes a copyright notice, you think, well, hang on, where did that come from? Because the AI has not invented that. That is from something that it's learned. It's been trained to understand that, and that is clearly, it seems to be that it's copying code from sources and then spitting it out. Now, we don't want our customers to be in that position. That's our concern with what we do if we put AI in the IDE, in RAD Studio. There are already some add-ins, as I'm sure you know, in Get It, that allow you to include OpenAI and a few other AI sources as well. So it is possible to add AI to your IDE now, if you chose to. But from Embarcadero and Idea's point of view, it's got to be done right, because we don't want to be responsible for the code going off and being sent to some faceless corporation, and your code gets used to train someone else to do your job, and then you're gone. You don't have a job anymore, and the AI takes you over. Or worse, one of your competitors now suddenly can say, oh, I saw some code that Dion wrote. He demonstrated his app. And let's see, let's ask the AI to write a function that does that, and it does it, and it uses your code to train your competitor how to do it. Now, that is actually technically a possible scenario that could happen,
Very.
without the right safeguards in place. So, those are the dangers of AI, and that's why we're being very cautious in the company about how we adopt it. We don't want to get to the point where something is released. We also want it to be something that people can turn off. If there are a lot of developers out there that do Delphi look like me, not like you. You're young and you're kind of, hello, I'm a film star. You've got that kind of film star look, whereas I've been a programmer for 40 years, and you can guess it's true. Look, and a lot of the older developers are obviously concerned about adopting AI because they're like, I don't get it. I do what I do. I've always coded this way. I mean, it's hard enough to get them to adopt Git, let alone anything else. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what you were showing in your video, if you were to summarize, you understand what I mean by summarize your kind of key points in that video, what would they be, do you think?
I will answer that, but just a little brief comment about the use of LLM. Many Embarcadero customers that we are our own customers, Ian, use Embarcadero for like Brazilian Army use Embarcadero products, Brazilian
Right.
Space Program use Embarcadero tools. So many companies that really
Really?
don't
I didn't
want,
know this.
yeah,
Cool.
they are small, of course. They are not like
Yeah,
NASA. They are
yeah.
small from Brazil, but they
It's still
use
cool though.
Delphi and C++ Builder. So this kind of company, you are very sure they don't want. They are spend many years in search and development, and that piece of code being used by another company is simply out of table. So your vision is very clear and great to Embarcadero that seems that so.
Yeah.
And now to summarizing about my speeches, my talk is about using the new concept of embeddings to help us to search things. When by now when we are using internet and Google something, sometimes we don't know the word, the precisely word. We even can type mistakes, can type the wrong question, but the Google will search and find us an answer. And the idea is bring that kind of search inside our ERP. So
Yeah.
when your customer are trying to search for something, and we know we usually has a lot of products, a lot of items, a lot of process that we can search, and sometimes they don't know the exactly word that took many time, that maybe involve other people to resolve something. And with this kind of search, we can eliminate that. We can be more productive because you don't have to know the exactly word. You can just type
Right.
the meaning, and the embeddings will fill the gap for you and bring you what you maybe are searching for.
Yeah.
And
I think that's interesting because I think that Google, when it first came out, it was just a brute force search. It took the words you had in your search engine, in your search box, sorry, and it did a brute force search for it. They did a very good way of indexing it, and the funny thing was they called it Page Index, which was really clever because it was Larry Page, but play on his name. But that's what it did. He was a brilliant mathematician, and he could work out how to very very in an optimized way do an index that could be searched very quickly. And yeah, they needed lots of servers to do it, but they did it. And now the reason they're struggling a little bit is because Microsoft were just lucky, I suppose, or clever, however you want to look at it, and said, okay, let's adopt AI, and they're trying to make that as replace the traditional search. Now, of course, they're fighting over that, and Google have put their what do they call it now? Gemini, I think that's their thing.
Yeah.
Gemini search in, so it does what you're saying, which is more about, okay, I see what you've typed there, but tell me the meaning of what you're looking for. Don't just say return an image of Dion Mai, but instead say, tell me about Dion Mai and why I should having on my webinar. And it'll go away and it'll go, okay, I know who Dion is because I've worked out from the context of what has been said there, and I know he's a Delphi person, so I'll bring a bunch of results back. And also excuse me, and also he works for Aquadata, and so let's look up the details of Aquadata. So you wouldn't get that just from a traditional search. It might come back with the results if your name is mentioned on your website. But I think with the like you say, understanding the actual meaning, it would go and look elsewhere and work out, oh well, Dion's appeared in this webinar, and they mentioned Aquadata 5 times when Dion was there, and also I know that Delphi is a programming language, so I'll bring up results. Yeah, I mean it's great. And you say you are integrating, or you have integrated that? What
We have integrated that.
you have put it into your product?
You have we have, and it's very simple process. We just need a vector database to store the vectors, but the most complicated thing is generate embeddings. And to generate embeddings, we always will have a large AI provider, or Google,
Right.
or OpenAI, or Hugging Face. Hugging Face has a open solution, but of
Uh-huh.
course it's not very good as the OpenAI embeddings. The OpenAI, in my opinion, was the best embeddings. They generate very accurate search. When we search, we always get the same around terms in response. But it's a very simple thing to do, Ian. We just, like I said, the idea was not put all the database inside the embeddings, just the searchable things that you needed, and generate embeddings for that kind of search. After that, you have just to embed in the search and compare it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I take your word for it when you say, "Oh, it's really easy to do." I don't think it's quite as easy as you say, but but then again, I mean, it's like anything. I remember them saying there's a program in the US, and I think it's in the UK as well. I forget, called "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire," and the catchphrase was the questions are always easy if you know the answer. And it's true of this. Yeah. Oh, it was so easy. Yeah, it was easy to put AI in. Well, if you know how to do it, yeah, I guess it is, right? So, but I'll take your word for it. But I mean, I have to say, based on the implementations I've seen, it is not that complicated because the work is done by whoever the provider is, and they do produce some pretty good implementations, REST and things like that. Pete Ario says we should fear AI. The world is not ready yet. Pete, that's not how the world works. It doesn't wait for you. It just gets on with it. But I don't know, fear AI. I mean, I'm getting older, and as I get older, you start to think about, competing against people who are younger and things like that for work and stuff like that. And I think that at the end of the day, AI is going to be a benefit. It's like the car. It's like modernization in factories. Yes, the modernization of the factories meant that fewer workers were needed, but those workers went on to do other jobs as well. And there's, I don't think there's more unemployment now than there was in the 1800s, for example. Although not relatively anyway compared to the population. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, do we need to be scared of it? Maybe not. And
Not,
he said if
I think you're not now, because it's we are just in the beginning. If you use, like I use a lot of Gemini and ChatGPT, you know that in many times a day you look at the answer and say, "Oh man, I can do this by myself." So they are very very poor by now. They can do things, of course, but they just are by now they just are a tool. Maybe in the future, if we start still growing, but by now they are just too dumb to, to put us in some game.
To me, last year was like when the internet started becoming popular. Because I'm old enough, I started programming in the 1980s, before the Windows PC, before the IBM PC actually was invented. Yes, I'm that old. And I'm older than Jim, which is really weird. I found out recently I'm a lot older than Jim. But I remember the PC coming out and everybody going crazy about it. It was obvious it was a big thing. And then I worked at a place where we were part of the early internet before it was an internet. And so I saw the internet grow, and as the World Wide Web got adopted, it was obvious it was going to be a big thing. It wasn't going to go away. For a while, it was like, oh, maybe it's just an idea, and we'll see what happens. But it gradually got to the point where where you're like, it's never going away now. And I think last year was probably the year. I'll put my dog down now. Was the year where AI got to the point where it's not going away. And some people are going to lose a lot of money in their investments in AI because that's what happens when it's the initial initial kind of introduction of a technology. But I think that Embarcadero believes that it's something we should embrace. But I think you yourself has proved the point. You can add it to your own apps, and it adds something to it. Yeah. Okay. Well, someone talked about the TRS-80. Dion, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Is this your last session, or you've got another one?
I have another one on Friday. No, I said.
Wow. We're not holding any of your family prisoner or anything, are we? I mean, you are doing this voluntarily, right?
No, we do because we love Delphi. We love to do
Yeah.
sessions.
Well, your company is a definite, leading light when it comes to Delphi, and you're all of what you do is great. You're a superb developer. Next video, we're going to bump the volume up for you a bit so that people don't complain. But apart from that, it's fine.
The next one I will say more stronger here.
Yeah, but you're an excellent presenter and a great guy as well, and a lot of fun. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay, well, thanks a lot.